Good afternoon, students. Okay, we'll start the class.
Good af- good
Okay,
afternoon, sir.
good afternoon. So,
Good
last
afternoon.
class, we have.
In the
Good afternoon. Kindly mute yourself.
okay, sir.
Please mute. So, I request all to mute yourself and please do not remove your friends. Okay, I have not given the option still. So, please do not remove your friends from your classes. Okay, so don't play with your play in the class, please. Okay, so we'll start the class. So today we are going to discuss about in detail about the OSI reference model. So last class, in the previous
Okay, sir.
classes, we have seen about what is a computer network, what are the advantages of a computer network, uses of computer network, and then the network topologies based upon the science and based upon the connection made, you have classified your network topologies. Okay, and then you have seen about some important protocols that are used in wireless networks. And then you have seen what are the hardware components that are used to make or establish a computer network. Okay, and then you have seen some standards. So standards are organizations which have set some models to make your or to establish your computer networks. Okay, you have seen some standards in the last class. Then you have discussed about OSI reference model. So you have discussed how the layering is done in your OSI reference model. So you have 7 layers. You have discussed about. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Um,
Yes,
so
sir.
we are discussing about 7 layers of your OSI reference model. So we have just seen the outline how this OSI reference model is formed. Okay, so we'll see in detail the functions of your OSI reference model. So we have discussed about what is meant by a layered task. So by seeing an example of how a letter is communicated through post from a sender to a receiver, you have modeled it like this as layers. So what is layering? Layering is splitting up of your communication into segments. This is done for easy understanding about the process that is happening and in order to uh, make an advancement in the process in each and every layers. Okay, so you're splitting the communication into layers in order to understand easily how this communication is happening. Okay, so you have seen an example of how a letter is sent from a sender to a receiver, okay, through post. So this is an example of layer model. So you have in your syllabus, you're going to see two models, the OSI reference model and TCP/IP reference model. So last class, you have discussed about what is an OSI model. So what is an OSI model? OSI stands for Open System Interconnection. So OSI stands for Open System Interconnection. So this is blueprint of your theoretical blueprint of how to understand the data from one user to another user. Okay, so how to transfer your data from one user to another user? You're making it as a theoretical blueprint. Okay, this is a model. It is just a model through which you can understand how the user is transferring a data from one system to another system. Okay, so before going to this OSI reference model, you have seen the evolution of the layers in the model. So what is layering? Layering is splitting up of your communication process that is evolved in your computer networking. So here you're going to study about OSI reference model. So OSI means open system interconnection. Okay, so in this open system interconnection, you have 7 layers. So to understand these 7 layers, you have seen how the 7 layers have been evolved. So the first model was created as single layer model. So first single layer model is a communication between two devices in the just by connecting your copper wire or a radio link. This is what the first single layer model. So in your two layer model, you have a technical standard and an application. So application is being developed to run over increasing the number of signaling and media system. So when the number of systems increases, you need to specify some application to which the network has to be connected. So for that, you have developed a layer called as application layer. Okay, so the two-layer model has a technical standard and an application layer. So next, you have a four-layer model. So in your four-layer model, the technical standards you have is divided into three layers: physical, data link, network layers. Okay, these are the three layers that are related to your technical standards. Okay, so how this uh, physical layer describes the physical aspects of your network. So like wires, cards that are integrated to make your network connection. And it specifies the interconnection topologies and your devices. So what topology you're using and what are the device necessary to connect your systems are established in this physical layer. So this is your physical layer in your four-layer model. Okay, and then your network layer. So your network layer defines a standard method of operation between the nodes. So you will be specifying a standard method of making an operation between two nodes. And it also introduces a scheme of addressing. So addressing in the sense to specify which system has the receiver has the sender has to send your message. Okay, so that is specified by the address. So address scheme is introduced in this network layer, and it also accounts to variation of your topologies. So depending upon the topology you're using, you're forming your address, and which topology you need, you have to route your data to that topology. So that is done in your network layer. So next is your data link layer in your four-layer model. So your data link layer works with the network layer. So it is working along with the network layer to translate your logical IP address into a hardware address. Okay, so hardware can understand only some uh, data. Uh, so in order to have an hard addressing that is related to your hardware, you're translating the logical address to a hardware address, that is your MAC address. We'll see those MAC addresses in detail in the next in the next classes. And it also defines a single link protocol for a transfer between your two nodes. So that is the function of your data link layer. So the data link layer is working along with your network layer to translate your logical address to a hardware address. Okay, the address which is readable by the hardware. So this is your four-layer model. Okay, in addition to this uh, three layers, you will be developing another layer in your five-layer model, that is your transport layer. So in your five-layer model, you have a transport layer in addition to this physical data link and the network layer. In addition to that, you'll be having a transport layer. Okay, so this transport layer was developed to increase the quality of your service. Okay, so so that variable levels of data integrity is made in your network. So you can integrate your variable level of data into the network. Okay, to make us to specify the data integrity. Okay, to specify the ensure the data connectivity between the network, you go for this transport layer. Okay, this is your five-layer model. So five-layer model, you have physical layer, data link layer, network layer, transport layer, and then your application layer. Okay. Next is your six-layer model. So in addition to these five layers, so you have a session layer included. So what is session layer? So session layer is used for dialog control and dialog separation. Okay, so this session layer is mostly responsible for synchronization of your data. Okay, how it will check whether the data has been arrived correctly or not. So that is done by this session layer. Okay, that aspects are discussed in this session layer. Next is your 7-layer model, that is your OSI reference model. So you have seen this, how this OSI reference model has been evolved. So 7 layers are splitted as physical layer, data link layer, network layer, transport layer, session, presentation, and application layer. Okay, so this is the process of making a communication network. Okay, establishing a communication network. So what happens theoretically when and communication is established is explained in this 7 layers. Okay, so when you establish a connection between two devices, so these are the layers that is modeled so that you can understand how the communication process is done effectively between two devices. Okay, so we'll see in detail about this each and every layer. So last class we have discussed about these layers, just an introduction of each and every layer. So physical layer, application layer, sorry, it starts from physical layer. Physical layer is the lowest layer. Physical, data link, network, transport, session, presentation, and application. Okay, so we are discuss about each and every layer. First, we'll discuss about what is an application layer. So last class we have seen what is an application layer. So it is specifies the network process to a particular application. Okay, it provides a network service to a particular application such as your electronic mail transfer, your file transfer, or your terminal evaluation. Okay, so the application layer enables the user, whether the human or the software, to access the network. So whether the human is going to access the network or the software is going to access the network, the application oriented. Okay, so the application so layer enables the user to specify whether you're operating the system, operating the network manually or through a software. Okay, and it also provides user interface and support for services such as electronic mail. So you can it supports the services that is integrated with your mailing, electronic mail, and to access your remote data or remote files from a network. And it also enables a database management and other types of distributed information services. So application layer enables the user to specify the application to which the network has to be connected. Okay, so other specific services are uh, network virtual terminal. So network virtual terminal means, so a network virtual terminal is a software version of a physical terminal. Okay, you can see that the network virtual terminal is a software version of a physical terminal, and it allows the user to log on to a remote host. So this network virtual terminal will allow the user to log on to a remote host, and it creates a virtual network. Okay, it is a physical terminal of a it is the software version of a physical terminal. Okay, a terminal which is established through a network. Okay, and to do so, what happens? The application creates a software of the terminal at the remote host. Okay, in order to perform the operation, what happens? The application the application layer will create a software at the terminals of the remote host. Okay, the user computer will will transfer his data to this software terminal. Okay, which will run to the host, right? And it is of the reverse direction also. So either from the user to the receiver or from the receiver to the user. Okay, you will set up a user terminal. Okay, a software terminal is set up between the host and the receiver. So that is your network virtual terminal. So this is specified by this application layer. So next is your file transfer, access and management. So you shortly call it as FTAM. So F is your file transfer, access and management. So the application allows the user to access files in the remote host. You'll access your file, that is, your file is transferred to your remote host. You can access or transfer your file to your remote host to this application layer. Okay, and it also used to receive your files. Okay, both transferring and receiving of files is done in this application layer, and it also it helps to access your access your terminal host also. Okay, you can access your networks or systems in the remote or the remote host through this application layer. And then management, you can also manage the control of flow of data to the remote computers or to the remote systems. So you can have a file transfer, you can access the data, and you can also manage or control the flow of data using this application layer. Okay, then is your mail services. So this application provides the basis for mailing, forwarding, or and also for storing. Okay, so the application of mailing services is for email forwarding your email, or storing your data in your mail. So these are done by the application layer. Okay, and then directory of services. So this directory of services application provides a distributed database source. Okay, it has a provides a distributed data source and the access for global information, and it is also used to access a global information over over a particular service or over a particular object. So these are the services that are provided by your application layer. So application layer enables the user to specify a certain application to which the file has to which the network has to be established. Okay, so it has these four specific services: establishing a virtual terminal between the host and the receiver, or it also helps to manage the file transfer and access the file, and also make a control. It controls the flow of data between the host and the receiver. Okay, and it is also responsible for your mail services. Okay, for forwarding an email and storing your emails. All these are done in your application layer. And then is your directory service. So directory of services is an application that provides the distributed data sources. Okay, it provides the distributed data sources so that you can access your global information which is present over the services. So the overall you'll be having many services provided in a user. Okay, so you will be accessing each and every services, or the user will enable any one of the service from the directory. Okay, that is your application of your, sorry, that is the service made by your application layer. Okay, so next is your presentation layer. Okay, this is your sixth layer. Presentation layer is your sixth layer. You call it as data representation layer. So this layer is responsible for representing your data, how a data should be. So here you're specifying the application, you're specifying the service which has to be done in the application layer, and then you're representing the data. So presentation layer is concerned with your syntax and schematics of the information exchange between two systems. Okay, it is concerned with your data representation in the form of syntax or schematics of the information. So what syntax has to be done? What format the data has to be represented? That is specified by this presentation layer. Okay, and the specific responsibility of the presentation layer are translation, encryption, and compression. So translation is the process in which the two systems are usually exchanging the information in the form of character, string, numbers, and so on. Okay, so usually two systems will be exchanging the information in the form of your character, strings, or numbers, or any other form of data. So these information should be changed to bit stream. It should be changed into a bits. It should be changed into zeros and ones. Okay. So before it is going to be transmitted. So the presentation layer at the receive will change the sender's information into a sender's dependent format. Okay, it will change this. It will translate that information, whether it is a string or a number or a character. It will change that information to a sender's dependable format. So the sender will have some format to send your data to a receiver. Okay, so that will be done by this presentation layer. Okay, the translation of your information in a suitable format is done by your presentation layer. Next is your encryption process. So encryption means it is mostly used for securing your information. Okay, so to carry some sensitive information, a system must have an privacy. It should have some privacy to carry your sensitive information. So encryption means that the sender transforms the original information to another form and sends the resulting message out over a network. So you are going to convert into another form so that it is going to be encrypted. Encrypted means to make your data secure. To transfer it in a secure manner, you're encrypting your data. So the encryption is done by your presentation layer. Okay, so this is how your data is represented. You're translating the data, you're encrypting the data, and you're compressing the data. So compression means data is the number of bits are reduced. That is compressing your data. Okay, the number of bits containing in the information is going to be reduced. That is your compression of your data. So these three functions are done by your present. Okay. Next is your session layer. So your session layer is responsible for inter-host communication. So you have seen where what is the session layer, which is used to establish an inter-host communication. Okay. So what does that mean? So the session layer is responsible for dialogue. It's also called as dialogue controller. It's responsible for the dialogue exchange between your systems. So it establishes, it maintains, and synchronize the interaction between your communication systems. So it will establish the connection, the dialogue connection, or it will maintain the dialogue connection within a network. If a data exchange is happening, it will maintain that data exchange between the systems, and it will synchronize the data between the systems. Okay, so that is done by your session layer. So you have two specific responsibilities of this session layer: a dialogue control and synchronization. So this is the two specific operations done by your session layer. Call it as dialogue control and synchronization. Sure. Dialogue control means the session layer allows two systems to enter into a dialogue. So when a network is established, okay, when a connection is established between two systems, it will allow the two systems to enter into a dialogue. This is responsible by this session layer, and it allows the communication between the two processes to take place either in one direction or in a two directions. We call it as half duplex or a full duplex. So the half duplex connection or full duplex connection between your two systems are established by the session layer. So that is your dialogue control. Okay. So it is used to establish a connection process within a single process or a two-way process. That is a full duplex and or a half duplex. So next, the session layer is also responsible for synchronization of your message. So what is the synchronization? What is meant by synchronization? The synchronization is to ensure that proper data is sent between the uh, sender and the receiver. That is, the sender has to send the data in one format, and the receiver has to access the format properly. That is, it has to understand what is the format that is sent by your sender. So that is done by this synchronization process in your session layer. So for example, if a system is sending a file of 2000 pages, okay, let us consider that, for example, a system is sending a file of 2000 pages, and it is advisable to what it does, you will be having a checkpoint in each and every 100 pages to ensure that all the pages have been received successfully. You will be having checkpoints at each and every 100 pages. And for example, in the case if there is a loss of data in the page number 523 randomly, so if this page has to be resent, okay, it has to be recovered. So that can be done by the process of synchronization. So when the two users are synchronized with your data, then it can easily access or recover the data immediately. Okay, so that is the process for your synchronization between your two users. So that is done by your session layer. Okay, so your session layer is responsible for your dialog control. Dialog control means it is used to establish a connection between two systems, either in a half duplex or a full duplex, and it is also used to synchronize the data between your systems. So that is the function of your session layer. Next, you have seen about your transport layer. So your transport layer is responsible for end-to-end connection. So you have seen the overall view of your transport layer. So what does the transport layer do? It is responsible for a process-to-process delivery the entire network. So to transport your data by process-to-process delivery of the entire message is done using your transport layer. So what is meant by a process? So process is an application program running on the host. So one application that is running on a host is delivered to the other system, that is your receiver. It ensures that the whole message arrives in the order, and it also controls the error and the flow of data in your system, okay, between the systems, so that it ensures that the whole messages arrive correctly and without any error to the source and the destination. So this is the responsibilities of your transport layer. So the other responsibilities are, it has a service point addressing. Okay, so it will provide a service point addressing to each and every messages. Okay, you will be having a address. Okay, a service point address will be provided in the transport layer. Okay, and then the next is segmentation and your reassembly. So a message here will the message which is coming to this layer will be divided into segments. Okay, that is your segmentation. So you are going to divide the message into segments. You'll be adding a service point address. So address means to which service the network has to be established. So that is specified by this service point addressing. And then you are going to segment the data, that is divide the data into transmittable segments. So each segment will be having some sequence of numbers. Okay, and these numbers enables the transport layer to reassemble the message correctly when it is reaching your destination. Okay, so this is the operation of segmentation. So segmentation means dividing the the transmitted messages into segments, and each segment with some sequence of numbers. Okay, and these numbers enables the transport layer to reassemble the message back. You can reassemble the message back at the receiver side. Okay, only when you properly segment your data. So that is the work done by your transport layer. So segmentation and reassembling. Next, it is also used for your connection control. Okay, so it is also used for connection control between your two systems. That is, the transport layer can either be connection oriented or connectionless oriented. So connectionless transport layer treats each segment as an independent packet uh, and delivers your uh, message to the destination. Okay, and you have connection oriented method of controlling your data. So a connection oriented transport layer makes the connection to the transport layer of the destination. Okay, and it will deliver it in the terms of your segmented messages. That is, this segmented messages will be accessed at the receiver side by the transport layer. Okay. Uh, Next is your flow control. Okay, flow control is to control the flow of your data. Okay, from end to end user, the flow of data is done in a controlled manner. So that is your flow control. Next is error control. The error control is responsible for controlling the process of error. That is, if you're transmitting your message and if it has some error, it will detect the error and it will correct the error. So that is done. The error control is mechanism is done in this transport layer. Okay, and you can see this error control mechanism, flow control mechanism in detail in a next chapter. Okay, this is your transport layer. So next is your network layer. So network layer is responsible for making network address, making and addressing and providing a best path to your transmission of your data. Okay. So network layer is responsible for the source to the destination delivery of a packet, possibly for a multiple network. So you'll be having multiple networks, and the network layer is responsible for source to destination delivery of your packet. Okay, and it also ensures that each packet gets its point from origin to its final destination. So your network layer will be ensuring the each packet gets from the original point to the final destination, right? And there are two responsibilities for this network layer. Is called that is called as logical addressing and routing. So logical addressing means the physical address implemented by your uh, the physical address that is implemented by your layer. That is your logical addressing. So you'll be making an address uh, to each and every network. So for example, your IP address of your system. So that is your logical addressing. Okay. So you will be specifying the logical addressing for the system or the host on the destination using this network layer. And routing. When the independent messages or the network link is established, then you have to make a proper routing to reach the final destination. That is, you have to provide a proper network to reach your or establish your connection. So that is done by your network layer. So the other responsibilities are a logic addressing and your routing in your network layer. So next is your data link layer. So your data link layer transforms the physical layer uh, a raw transmission facility to a reliable link. Okay, so it is just transforming your physical layer. So you see what is the physical layer? It is just below this data link layer. Okay, so what are the responsibilities of this data link layer? It is just like a physical layer. You see what is the physical layer, and the responsibilities of this data link layer are framing, physical addressing, flow control, error control, and access control. So these are the responsibilities of your data link layer. So what is meant by framing? So framing is the data link layer will divide the stream of bits that is received or that is to be sent from a network into a manageable data. You call that manageable data as a frame. That is dividing it into a frame. You'll be having a header, you'll be including a header and a trader to make a to frame your data. So you'll see what is meant by framing in detail in the in your next unit. Okay? So here you just understand that the framing is a process of dividing the dividing the stream of data so that it is manageable. It is like a manageable data in your system. Okay, between the systems. So next, you'll be providing a physical address. So after framing the data, you'll be providing a physical address in the form of header and the trailer in the data link layer. So you'll see how the physical addressing is done while you deal with data link layer. So next, here also it is responsible for flow control and error control. That is flow control to control the flow of your data from the receiver to the from the sender to the receiver. Okay, so that there is less error in your flow of data. So you can also control the error by this data link layer. So the data link layer will have a responsibility of error control. The error control is normally achieved through this header and the trailer that is framed during your physical addressing. So in your physical addressing, you will be adding a header and a trailer. Based upon that header and the trailer, you can easily detect the error and control the flow of error. Okay, and access control. So when two or more devices are connected to the same link, the data link layer are necessary to have some protocols. Okay, so to establish a proper access, we'll be having some protocols. So you'll see what are the access control protocols in your data link layer. So these are the responsibilities of your data link layer. It is used to frame your data. It is used to provide a physical addressing, adding a header and a trailer. So based upon this addition of your addressing, you can control the flow of data and you can make the control of your errors in your data. So next is your physical layer. So the physical layer coordinates the functions required to carry the bit stream. Okay, it is required to carry your what are the physical components that are needed to carry this data that is provided by the physical layer. So it deals with mechanical and electrical specifications between the interface of and the transmission media. So what are the mechanical aspects and what are the electrical specifications required will be dealt with this physical layer. So a physical component, the physical component that is required to establish a connection, what in both mechanical and electrical specifications will be provided by this physical layer. And it also defines the procedure and the function that the physical devices and interface have to perform. So it will define you the procedures and the functions that the physical functions that the devices have to perform. That will be specified by this physical layer. And it is also concerned with this following operations: physical characteristics of interface and media. So the physical characteristics of your hello, please mute yourself.
None, sir.
So just we'll see the physical layers, responsibility of the physical layers, and I'll stop the class.
Sir,
So what are the responsibilities of the physical layers? So the physical characteristics of your interfaces and your media. Okay. So the physical layer defines your characteristics of interface between the devices and your transmission media. So it also defines which type of transmission media has to be done, whether it is a wired transmission or wireless transmission. The physical characteristics of interface between the media is done by your physical layer, and it is also represented in terms of bits. So the data are represented in terms of zeros and ones by this physical layer. And next is the data rate. So the rate at which your data, which the data has to be sent. uh, the data has to be sent in some rate. That rate is specified by the physical layer. So the rate at which the transmission has to be done is specified by the physical layer. And then it is also responsible for synchronization of the bits. So you are transmitting the data in terms of zeros and ones. So uh, that transmission is enabled by this physical layer. So the synchronization between the bits which is transmitted between the sender and the receiver is done by this physical layer. So in other words, you can say that the sender and the receiver clock must be synchronized. So you'll be using zeros and ones, and that bits must be synchronized with your senders and your receiver. So that is done by using clock. You will be seeing how the synchronization is done in your second unit. Okay. So next is line configuration. So the physical layer is concerned with your connection of your devices to the media. So what configuration is needed? Whether it is point-to-point configuration or point-to-multi-point configuration. So that line configuration is done by this physical layer. So whether it is a point-to-point connection, one system to one system or one system to many systems. So that configuration is done by this physical layer. So next is your physical topology. So physical topology defines how the devices are connected to make a network. So how the devices has to be connected, whether it has to be connected in a star topology, less topology, or a ring topology. In what topology has the system has to be connected are specified in this physical layer. So next is your transmission mode. So the mode of transmission, whether it is a simplex, half duplex, full duplex. The mode of connections are done by this physical layer. So simplex means it is only one device can send the data. So you have, I think you all know this in your communication. You have studied what is the simplex, duplex, half duplex, and full duplex. So simplex means it is a mode of sending a data only from one device. So half duplex means one way. It is similar to that of the simplex mode,